every day feels just like heaven. Wifey, you mean the world to me.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Etcetera with the Woodards. This is episode 16. I'm your host for the evening, Craig Woodard Sr. Hey, episode 16, can you believe it? Not only are we going to be put on YouTube, our YouTube channel at Etcetera with the Woodards, we're also live streaming right now on Facebook Live as well, Sunday night, and the recording will be played tomorrow night on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and of course you can check it out at our website, www.dsatb.org, and you can also check it out on our YouTube channel as well. But tonight I wanted to get kind of right at it. Like I said, it's episode 16. I've had this idea of doing a podcast where I can kind of highlight not only the Down syndrome community down here in Tampa, but also discuss some other items that was on my mind as well. And like I said, that's where Etcetera came from. We could talk about this, we could talk about that, and Etcetera. And so we can add in some different topics and kind of have some fun. So we're live on Facebook, and we are recording for our YouTube channel as well. So in Facebook land, if you have any questions, want to chime in, go ahead and put something in the comments, and I'll be sure I can get back to you as well. But as I stated, this is episode 16, kind of a milestone. Was our last show at episode 15. I don't know how many of these we're going to do. I have no idea, but as long as I can keep coming up with some content, I'm going to try to deliver it to the best of my ability. How? ETC. E stands for energy. I'm going to give you all the energy that I have. T stands for transparency. I'm going to be as honest and transparent as possible. C, fully convicted. I'm going to give you some conviction, my opinion, as I know it. Okay, so that's what ETC stands for. All right, episode 16. I wanted to give a couple shouts out to a couple people here that I could not do this without. I have been talking about this quite some time. My cousin Podgy Carter down in Houston, by way of Erie, Pennsylvania, the 814. Podgy and I talked about putting together a podcast and some ideas, and I even went on his show as well. And so Podgy, thanks for the extra push that I needed to get this thing going. I really appreciate it. His sidekick, my man, my former co-worker, a brother of mine as well, Jason Miner. JPad, I'm telling you what, man, I really appreciate everything that you've done to get this thing started. JPad went on Amazon and picked out the equipment that I needed, sent it to me, I purchased it, he walked me through setting everything up. When you talk about putting together a podcast, the first thing is, what do I do? How do I do it? And Jason really helped me out big time, man. Got me going and got me right. And he is also my producer and editor, man. If you watch the taped version on our YouTube channel, the intro and the outro, that's all JPad, man. He still got it. He's still doing his music and producing thing. And I want to just shout out my fellas, both Podgy Carter and Jason Miner. I appreciate both of you. All right. I also want to give a shout out to my big brother Emilio Vanderpool. He's up in New Jersey right now. Good to see you. Please tell Moms I said hi and give her a big hug for me. All right, we're going to move on. This weekend, we had a really good weekend. I had 3 good nights in a row to go on Facebook Live. We have our DSATB Rise Up for Down Syndrome Gala coming up on September 13th. It's Saturday from 6 to 10 p.m. at the Tampa River Center. And I wanted to give away some tickets for free. I wanted to give away some free tickets. And so I went on live on Thursday, went on live on Friday, went on live last night, and finally declared a winner. So the contest was basically to type in the comments a number. You got one guess. It was a number between 0 and 100. And we did it for 3 straight nights because nobody got it. So then I had to fall back to who was the closest to that number without going over. The number I picked was number 65. The reason why I picked number 65 is because we just passed a historic holiday in Juneteenth, which was June 19th. And that Freedom Day, beautiful day, was June 19th of 1865. So I picked 65 as my number, and Sherry Shad picked number 63. So she got the closest to that number without going over, and she won 2 golden tickets to the Rise Up for Down Syndrome Gala presented by Zachary Owen, which is going to be September 13th down here in Tampa at the Tampa River Center from 6 to 10 p.m. So that is going to be a lot of fun, okay? Also, today, Sunday, we had another class today, another 321 art class today, and it was a great project that our teacher, Mercedes Anderson, put together. The kids had ceramic, it was just gray ceramic items, and they could pick which one they wanted, and they could paint it all up. There was I saw a flower pot. Craig Jr. painted a car. They had a number of different things, and the kids, the students, just loved it. Had a good time. That's one of these things. We're in our 4th year right now, almost done with our 4th year of our 321 art class, and going into our 5th year next year, starting in around October. And we do it twice a month. Just for you to know the schedule, it's usually on the first Monday of every month from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Center Place in Brandon. And it's the third Sunday of every month at 2 p.m. from 2 p.m. to 3 p.m. at Center Place in Brandon as well. So come on out if you're not doing anything. There's free speech therapy. There is free occupational therapy as well. We have 2 of the best therapists in the business that will work with your kids on a number of different things, and it goes very, very well. Speaking of speech therapy, I was speaking to our speech therapist, Carrie, today. We were talking about family and going out of town and things like that. And one of the topics came up about adoption and things in that nature. She was telling me about family members in her family that were adopted, and I was telling her about my family. And then I was like, wait a minute, I have a good idea of what I might talk about tonight on the podcast. I said, thank you. So moving on to our next topic is going to be this. Everybody has them in your family. Everybody has them in your family. How much of it you have discovered, I don't know. Were you lucky enough? Were you privy enough to receive the information, or is it still ongoing? And what I'm talking about is family secrets. All families have secrets. Why? I don't know. Perfect example, you could have someone could be adopted in your family, and that person adopted in your family, how do the parents handle that? Do they let that child know from the very beginning how special they are and that they are adopted? Do they tell them that as a baby and groom them to know exactly that fact as they get older? And to use a perfect example, my parents did that. My parents did that as well. So with my parents, my sister, Angie, was adopted. And, my mom and dad at first were told that they could not have children. And so they adopted my sister. And from the beginning, they told my sister she was adopted and she was special. And then, 19 months later, I come around. So we grew up together, and that's my sister. That's what I know as one of my sisters, my older sister, the oldest one out of five of us, because I have a couple of half sisters. Okay. However, she was adopted, and it didn't matter. It didn't matter to anybody that she was adopted, but it was not kept a secret. But there are families out there that do keep that as a secret from that child. And then they try to explain um, who they truly are when that child becomes an adult. Do you think that that's the best thing to do? Do you think it's best to share that information um, with that individual during their upbringing so they're used to it and they know? Um, we as parents try to teach our children not to lie, right? Um, so, what does that make you down the line? Who are you trying to protect? Are you trying to protect the child? Are you trying to protect yourself? Who are you trying to protect? When do you want that person to find out? Is it important for that person to find out? Because clearly, for health reasons, they should know. They should know what's going on. They should probably be able to do their background, um, find out, what their biological parents have gone through. It may help them down the line. You know, just my opinion. It's just one of those things to ask. Now, the family secret doesn't have to be adoption. It could be anything else. Did such and such have another child somewhere out there? Um, did something else happen in the family that they don't want to discuss? Um, there's a lot of family secrets out there. So I challenge you all to ask questions. And the best thing to do is, especially if you're blessed to still, I'll be 51 on Thursday. If you're blessed to still have your grandparents alive, when my grandparents were alive, I used to sit down and ask them questions all the time. I used to go over their house and ask them a lot of questions to find out a little bit more about myself. But I would ask them questions about them when they were younger, things that maybe my parents didn't even know, because sometimes our old school grandparents don't say some of the information to their children, the baby boomers, for fear of maybe being judged. So, but they open up to the grandkids a little bit more because there's no judgment. I'm a perfect example of that. I found out more information from my grandfather Woodard than my father did. Our relationship was just a little bit different, and I can appreciate that. And then I was able to share some of that information with my dad so that my dad would know some of that information, and it would also explain some things for him during his upbringing. So, family secrets. I challenge you all to dig in, ask some questions, ask your parents, ask your grandparents, find out if there are any family secrets you all need to talk about. Okay, last subject I'm going to talk about, then I'm going to let you guys go and watch this game so I can watch this NBA Finals Game 7. I heard Halliburton hurt his calf and he's out for the game. I still got my money on OKC, but we're going to see who wins this one. But the next topic is the pressures of taking over a family business. That's a good one, right? The pressures of taking over a family business. Usually, when parents or grandparents or great grandparents establish a family business and it's the business name, it's the last name, and it's in the family, and they want to pass that business on, they groom you from when you were born to take over this business. No matter what the business is, most of them groom you to take over the business. Why? They want to keep the family business in the family's name. They want to keep it going. They want to pass it on for generations to come. They also want to create some type of, I don't know if you want to say wealth, but they want to establish, a long legacy where you can be financially stable. Let's say it that way, because some businesses don't make that much money. Some of them, they really do. But the point is to keep it in the family. So here's the dilemma. I don't know if anyone out there has gone through this or not, but if you have been groomed to take over the family business all your life and you get older and the time has come, but when you're graduating college, you got a different idea and you don't want to take over the family business, and you're the only child that's left to take it over. Do you feel the pressure? Is that something that you would have the guts to say, hey, listen, I want to do something else with my life? Or do you succumb to all the pressure of the family that they're putting on you to keep this business going, to keep the name of the business going? How tough a decision would that be if you're just like, I don't want to do that. That's not what I don't want to do with my life. And I'm sure it happens out there. I'm sure it happens. We don't hear about it as much, but I'm sure it does happen. But this is just something to think about, And I was talking to my sister, Ashley, about this. She actually brought this topic up. We were talking about it, and I shared a story with her. Those from the 814 in Erie, Pennsylvania, remember Brandel Painting. And Dennis Brandel ran Brandel Painting. And I believe his son, who was younger than me, who I covered when I was a sports anchor, he played baseball and football for Cathedral Prep. Denny Brandel, I believe he took over the business, the last that I heard. So Denny was groomed. I remember seeing him in commercials all the time when he was younger until he's now older now and has taken over the family business. And they do a lot of great work in town, Brandel Painting. They do some really, really super work. So that was just one of the examples that I thought about earlier was Brandel Painting in Erie, Pennsylvania. So do you feel the pressures of taking over the family business, or are you okay with saying, I want to do something else with my life, and avoiding all of the pressure and having someone else have to take over the business? Food for thought. Good question, good topic for you guys to kind of discuss. All right, so that does it for episode 16 of Etcetera with the Woodards. I am your host this evening, Craig Woodard Sr. We'll see you next week.